Browns fans, this quarterback debate gets crazier by the day. The closer we get to training camp, the more opinions pop up, but not all of them actually make sense. Today, we're going to look at one of the most surprising takes making the rounds, understand why it's sparking so much debate among the fan base, and see what it might actually mean for the future of the Cleveland Browns. Let's dive right in, but before we do, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Let's go. The latest discussion regarding the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation has reached a point where the conversation seems to generate more confusion than clarity, particularly concerning Shedeur Sanders. A recent opinion circulating suggests that if Sanders plays well this season, it could somehow complicate the Browns' future plans. However, upon closer inspection, that argument simply doesn't hold water. If a rookie quarterback proves he can play at a high level, it doesn't create a problem for an NFL franchise. On the contrary, it solves one of the biggest questions organizations spend years trying to answer. The Browns have been seeking long-term stability at the quarterback position for decades. If Shedeur Sanders develops into the player the organization hopes for, Cleveland would suddenly have a young franchise quarterback playing on a rookie contract. This grants the front office flexibility, preserves draft capital for future years, and allows the team to build around its most important position rather than constantly searching for the next solution. Another point fueling the debate is the suggestion that Cleveland is bracing for a disappointing season due to the decision to part ways with Myles Garrett. This interpretation overlooks the fact that the organization is attempting to rejuvenate its roster while simultaneously acquiring assets for the future. The idea here is that the Browns didn't simply get rid of an elite player, they brought in a younger replacement, Jared Verse, and improved their long-term outlook. Whether or not fans agree with this assessment, characterizing the decision as giving up on the season misrepresents the logic behind it. Finally, there is the biggest contradiction of all. Some argue that Sanders could play well, while Cleveland still finishes with one of the league's worst records, putting the Browns in a position to select another quarterback at the top of the 2027 draft. But if Sanders truly performs like a franchise quarterback, how could Cleveland simultaneously end up picking at the top of the draft? These two ideas simply don't hold water when considered together. The only scenario that could truly create uncertainty is the one involving Deshaun Watson. If Watson returns healthy and somehow recaptures the level of play he displayed early in his career, the Browns would suddenly face a tough decision regarding his future. That is the scenario that could complicate the landscape. A high-performing Watson would naturally raise questions about contracts, roster construction, and the franchise's direction moving forward. The discussion gained further momentum after comments from Nathan Zegura, an analyst for the Browns radio network, suggested that Watson currently holds only a slight edge in the quarterback competition. These remarks sparked intense reactions from fans, with many questioning whether media narratives were shaping public perception. The crucial distinction, however, is that Zegura isn't just another outside voice commenting from afar. He works closely with the organization, visits the facilities regularly, and has demonstrated consistent access to information before it becomes public. This doesn't mean his opinion guarantees Watson will be the starter. Far from it. On the contrary, it suggests the competition is much tighter than many anticipated. And if the race is truly neck and neck, without an overwhelming advantage for either side, the favorite status might ultimately shift toward Sanders. When a rookie quarterback is close enough to challenge a seasoned veteran, organizations often choose to invest in the future rather than delay the evaluation process. Training camp now becomes the stage where every throw, every practice rep, and every decision will be scrutinized. Until the coaching staff makes an official announcement, much of the conversation remains nothing more than speculation. But one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The Browns seem to have a much more intriguing quarterback battle than they've had in years, and every practice will bring fans closer to finding out who will lead the team in the 2026 season. Do you think Shedeur Sanders has done enough to earn a real shot at the starting job, QB1? Or should Deshaun Watson still head into training camp with the upper hand? What makes this whole situation even more fascinating is how the narrative has shifted, even though nothing has actually happened on the field yet. The players haven't reported for training camp, no preseason plays have been run, and there hasn't been any meaningful practice for evaluation. Yet, day by day, the quarterback battle seems to take a new turn. One day, Sanders is viewed as the franchise's clear future. The next, Watson suddenly gains momentum. Then, news breaks that the dynamic has shifted again. Until the coaching staff sees these quarterbacks competing in full-intensity practices, any prediction remains just that, a prediction. One factor that could influence the entire competition is the arrival of offensive coordinator Todd Monken. Reports suggest that Watson essentially got a fresh start because Monken joined the team without any preconceived notions. Instead of judging him solely on past seasons, Monken chose to evaluate each quarterback from scratch. That decision alone reopened a door many believed had already closed. Just months ago, very few people expected Watson to even be part of this conversation. The expectation was that his future in Cleveland had become extremely uncertain after everything that had transpired. But a change in the coaching staff altered the landscape. New coaches bring new evaluations, different offensive philosophies, and fresh perspectives on a player's potential. Whether Watson can truly capitalize on this opportunity is something only training camp and regular season games will reveal. Another key factor is that the Browns appear to be heading into training camp with much greater quarterback depth than they've had in recent years. Regardless of who takes the starting job, QB1, the team should have another experienced option ready should circumstances change. Injuries happen. Team momentum fluctuates. Performance varies over the course of an NFL season. Having multiple quarterbacks capable of competing gives Cleveland a level of flexibility that simply hasn't existed for quite some time. Fans will finally start getting concrete answers once open training camp sessions begin. They will have plenty of opportunities to watch the quarterbacks compete, observe the offense's development, and draw their own conclusions, rather than relying entirely on outside opinions. Every completed pass, every decision, and every competitive drill will draw intense scrutiny, as everyone understands the position's importance to the franchise's future. The conversation extends beyond the offense, too. There is genuine excitement about what this defense could become. Even after significant roster changes, there is confidence that the defensive identity will remain aggressive and disciplined while incorporating new adjustments from the coaching staff. If Cleveland gets at least average quarterback play and the defense performs at the level many expect, the team could immediately become far more competitive than last season's results suggest. Ultimately, it comes down to a simple reality. The Browns don't necessarily need perfection at quarterback. They need stability, consistency, and someone capable of leading an offense that produces more than it did last year. If Sanders proves to be that player, Cleveland might finally have its long-term solution. If Watson somehow rediscovers his old form, the Browns would suddenly have another unexpected option. Either way, the organization appears to be in a much stronger position heading into this season than it was just a short while ago. Speculation will continue until the first practices begin, but once the action starts on the field, opinions will quickly give way to hard facts. That is where the real competition begins, and when every Browns fan will finally get the answers they've been waiting for. Until then, every headline should be viewed with caution, as the only opinions that truly matter are those of the coaches making decisions behind the scenes. If you're excited to follow all the Browns training camp updates and want the latest news as it happens, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and click on the video appearing on your screen right now. That's where you'll find the next big Browns update before anyone else. As always, the fastest updates on the Cleveland Browns are right here, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.